Hi everyone, and welcome to the ABA Cafe with Naki, the BCBA. So today's video, we're going to talk about what is ABA. That's the key topic for today. So this is for anyone that have heard of the field of ABA and just want some more information about what it is. Stick around, I got you right here. If you're a parent that has a family member or a child that was referred to ABA services, this is what we're going to talk about, so listen up. Or if you're a professional who is interested in joining the field of ABA and just want to understand what exactly do we do in ABA in practice, stick around for today's key topic at the virtual ABA Cafe with Naki, the BCBA. Behavior analysis, which is an evidence-based applied science. ABA has been around for a while, but this field has grown exponentially in the last decade, which is honestly a blessing for many families that has loved ones with special needs. In ABA, we use the scientific method to help us determine what environmental variable is influencing social significant behavior. And we use evidence-based practices to develop interventions to improve the quality of life. In improving the quality of life of individuals with special needs, such as ASD and related disabilities, we aim to decrease challenging behavior while increasing socially significant behavior. ABA can and is used in many different avenues, such as OBM, Operation Business Management, technology, forensic science, so you work for the FBI, rehabilitation, working with individuals that experience TBI, and many more. I will actually provide a list of different opportunities that we use ABA in the description box below. Though in this video, I will focus more on my area of expertise, which is working with young individuals with special needs. In this particular field, what we do is we conduct assessments on a person's skills and skill deficits, and we also assess their behavior to help determine what the function or the cause of the behavior is. And then we use evidence-based practices supported by years of empirical research to help teach new skills and shape behavior in the desirable direction by manipulating their environment. We actually use ABA in almost everything that we do. And I'm going to break down some real life example of how ABA and the principle of behavior applies to our daily life, okay? So first, let's choose a behavior. The behavior we're going to choose is answering your phone. And we'll define the behavior of answering your phone as checking the green answer button on your screen, okay? And so whenever your phone rings, and let's say you see a picture of the picture and the name of your best friend, and you press the green answer button, you have access to talking to your best friend about whatever it is that you were looking forward to talk to them about. So the next time your phone rings and you see your best friend's name and picture, you're more likely to press that green button to have the same experience that you had before. Based on your own history of pressing that green button when you saw your friend's name and their picture or their picture, depending on what type of phone you have, you're likely going to press that button again, all right? This is an example of principle of behavior in ABA called positive reinforcement. Now, using the same behavior, pressing the green button, let's say your phone rings again, but this time it says scam likely. But we're going to pretend that this is your first time seeing this, so you don't know what to expect, all right? Just keep it on the low. So you go ahead and you answer your phone. And so what do? You press that the green button on your screen. And someone on the other line is asking you about your car's extended warranty for a car that you don't even have. And it obviously wasn't a pleasant call. Therefore, in the future, the next time you see scam likely, you'll be less likely to engage in that response of touching the green answer option, because in the past, when you did, you experienced an unpleasant call. This is also an example of ABA, of a principle called positive punishment. But don't worry about the technicality of the terms in this video. This isn't the point right now. The point is that I wanted to show you how something simple as that applies to ABA. Because we learned through our own history how to adapt and acquire new skills to get access to or avoid certain things in life. And it all has to do with manipulating the environment. This process is very similar with individuals with special needs. We break things down in simple and comprehensible ways for individuals with special needs to acquire the skills that they need to increase their quality of life. We teach them the contingency, which simply works as, when you do this, you will get access to this. If you do that, you won't get access to that. It's actually a little bit more complicated than that, but it's a start for beginners that are just learning about ABA. Okay, I'll get into more depth maybe in a later video. But for some of our kids on the spectrum, the deficit they have is likely due to the lack of contingency they come into contact with. For many of us, we are aware of appropriate social cues. For example, when someone says your name for your attention, we're going to look around in the direction of the speaker. For some of our kiddos on the spectrum, they don't understand the importance of addressing their name when it's called. Therefore, we have to establish that contingency to show them if you do respond to your name, you get access to reinforcement, to praise, to high five, and so on and so forth, so that they're more likely to do it again in the future. The most important thing about ABA in practice is to understand that the only way we're able to measure the success in the treatment that we provide is by referring to the data. Everything we do in ABA is data driven. As we know, numbers don't lie. So if we're implementing an intervention for a behavior that we want to reduce, we would take data of the occurrences every day. If we start to see that the numbers are reducing for a maladaptive behavior, then we may be inclined to say that the treatment or intervention may be working, right? If that's what we want it to do. And also, if we're working on increasing a skill and we realize that the number of correct responding for that skill is increasing, then again, we would conclude that the intervention did in fact work with teaching them that skill. Just to be clear, because I've had this question come up so many times, we never administer or prescribe any medication, and we do not implement any sort of harsh punishment. Okay? What we do is we assess the individual, we determine their skills and deficits, we implement environmental variable changes to help increase skills or decrease maladaptive behavior using the science of behavior analysis. Okay, so where does the science come in all of this? Well, prior to creating any intervention, we have to follow the 3 basic steps that are essential in creating a scientific hypothesis. All right, so number 1, the first thing we do is we describe. When describing, we use systematic observation by defining the behavior that we're targeting in objective and measurable terms. For example, at the beginning of the video, I had to define answering the phone so that will help me observe how many times they specifically engage in that response of pressing the green answer button on the phone. And also, what environmental variable was in effect? What happened before I pressed the green button? Remember, my best friend called or the scam likely called? Which one? What happened after? Was it a pleasant call or not? And of course, what exactly did it look like? Like, what does it look like? Okay? The next thing, prediction. So we predict based on our observation, based on the behavior we observed. If all of the environmental variable remain constant, would you predict this behavior occurring like this again? In other words, what is the correlation between the environmental variable and the behavior? That's the prediction phase. And the last step is control. And this is our highest level of scientific understanding. In the control phase, we manipulate the independent variable to see what effect it will have on a dependent variable. To put it in layman's terms, in the control phase, we manipulate the environment to determine if it will change the thing that we are measuring. In the example before, to make it even more easier and simplify it even more, it will answer the question of, will changing the contact that's calling your phone change the frequency of you pressing the green answer button on your screen? Does that sound familiar? The whole scientific process? Does that sound familiar? Yes, it should. It's literally science. We're seeking knowledge about the natural world, which is what ABA is all about. With the population that I work with, we use the contingency of reinforcement to help shape behavior and teach new skills. And the next time someone asks you what ABA is and you're having a hard time explaining it, just refer them to this video at the Virtual ABA Cafe with NACI, the BCBA.